Alrighty, welcome to the December Women's Circle. I'm so excited. And that's actually a lie. We'll dive more into that. But excited is so not where my system is. And I think you might even notice a difference in my voice where I'm like, welcome, I'm so excited, when really it's like, welcome, I'm confused as shit and feeling all of this same energy as you. I am not high vibe today. I am not excited. I am not really sure what I am. And so I just invite you into this space exactly as you are. No need to show up here ready to do a thing or be a thing or, I don't know, literally no pressure on you to do or be anything, to be excited, to be happy, to be whatever it is that you feel like so much pressure to be right now. Whether it's to have a thing figured out, if it's to be strong, if it's to be soft or sweet or kind, whatever it is that you're feeling pressured to be, or like you feel like you should be right now, and you're trying to like get yourself there, I invite you not to. And to just be here with yourself. Like, come exactly as you are, whether you're here live or you're on the replay. I just feel like anyone who makes it here tonight or who makes it to this replay is doing amazing. Just by having made it into this space. It was not easy. It was not easy to get here tonight. And those of you who are on the replay, I know getting to the replay has not been easy either, because there's just a lot of energy sort of in the way, is how it feels. There's like this energy swirling at the surface, right? There's all this stuff happening on the surface, all this stuff happening in our minds and our upper chakras. And then deep down below is the truth. Underneath that, in the quiet, that's where the truth exists, where trust exists, where space exists. And we have to believe that that's there to show up for it. So the simple fact that you're here just shows a supreme amount of self-trust and faith in yourself and in your ability to heal and in your ability to feel good. And I don't mean good as in excited, but your ability to feel like you. It's totally possible. And the fact that you're here proves that part of you knows that. And so my intention for holding the space tonight is to meet her, is to sit with her and talk with her. And so, yeah, I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to sort of settle in and get their space set up. So if you want to like turn down some lights, you'll notice, those of you who are with me last month, I was in like my office, which of course, like the beautiful part of my office, no one can see when I'm on live there because it's like showing the playroom side behind me. But I was feeling very fiery and passionate and like ready to go. And this month I'm in a totally different energy. I'm feeling much more in my feminine, in the restful space of my feminine. I actually took like a 40-minute accident nap until like 10 minutes ago. I woke up just in time to hop on. I'm in my bed. The lights are turned down. So, whatever space you normally set up, it doesn't have to be that space. How do you feel tonight? What do you want tonight or right now while you're watching this replay, if it's not nighttime? Do you want to go grab a blanket? Do you want to light a candle? Do you want to grab some oils or some crystals? Do what you want to do. Do you want to change your clothes? Do you want to put on an outfit that feels more like you? Like, take some time and do that. Especially if you have the replay, you can pause the video and like take as much time as you need. Maybe you go hop in the bathtub. Those of you who are on with me live, though, we will take a few minutes here live to just sort of get settled in and do whatever it is you need to do, even if it is just like simply landing here and being. I think I'm going to go grab some sage and clear some energy for us before we get started. So I will be back. Y'all might hear my dog licking herself, so I apologize in advance. That's what's happening over here. gigantic lighter. And then I have like all these little tiny pieces of sage. But yeah, just wherever you are, doing whatever you need to settle in. And I am going to start clearing some energy for the group. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing. We'll see. So I do invite you to start getting settled in and just starting to lean into yourself, to your body, and just noticing what's moving through you, what's coming up. You know, having a hard time dropping in, having a hard time seeing or being, letting go of the day, that's a thing, you know, that's an energy. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just that that's where your energy is at today. That's what's coming through. It's difficulty or uncertainty. Maybe you're dropping straight in. Maybe there is that deep, deep desire for nurturing, for being held and being taken care of. I feel like that's where we're going today. I feel like that's the energy when I lean into like what at its highest, purest form is tonight. What is it all about? Because I'll tell y'all, I almost canceled this so many times. I almost rescheduled so many times, even at like 5 minutes till. I was like, okay, no, fuck this. I'm canceling, you know, and I'll go deeper into that and kind of explain why I'm not like excited and high vibe and why I almost canceled. But for now, it's like I just want to acknowledge like the part of you that almost didn't show up. The part of you that like still isn't really sure if she wants to be here or doing this thing, really doesn't know what she's doing or why she's doing it or what the point is. The part of you that is really wanting to be mothered and held and loved and seen. The part of you that like really just wants to feel safe. God, yeah, the part that just really wants to feel safe. Yeah, moving closer to this part of you that doesn't know how to feel safe, but desperately wants that and needs it. And just noticing how she is protecting or distracting or pulling you away from the part of you that is hungry, that wants more, that is like desiring something. And these may be like two sides of the same coin, or it may feel like two different energies in your body, but just notice that push-pull. That yes, I want to do this thing. I want to hold this space and connect with these women. This was me. It's like I want to do this thing. I want to hold this magical space. I want to be a part of it. I want to witness it. I want to experience. I want to hold it. And I'm frustrated and worried and nervous, and I just don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to show up because I didn't talk about it, you know? I don't know if it's going to be good enough because it's not fiery and passionate like November's. I don't know if it's okay that I'm in a totally different space than I was. I don't know where I want the camera, if I want my face or my heart at the center, right? There's just so much that like, I just don't know. Is this a thing I'm even supposed to be doing? Does it matter, you know? And that's the stories. We get lost in the story of like, does it matter? Am I good enough? Is it enough? Do I even want this? And I invite you to get closer to those questions. It's not bad to be asking yourself these questions, you know? The things and the people that are sleeping aren't asking these questions. So the simple fact that you're doubting yourself is proof that you're aware and that you're awake and you're conscious and you're trying And that's more than enough. The fact that you're here is more than enough. And I think as I was preparing for this space, I start to feel the collective, and I forget that it's the collective that I'm feeling. And I have a feeling, everyone who follows me or works with me is sensitive to energy, otherwise you wouldn't be here. And so there's a way we start to feel the people in our lives, or the people that we are impacting and may not even know it. We start to feel the collective, like the energy of the whole world, universe within us, and we start to experience it, and it may not even be ours. I don't know if all the fear and doubt and frustration and agitation and impatience was even mine before the call. And this is where I'm learning a new part of my journey is presence, just being present and tuning into, like, I don't need to know what's mine, what's others, what needs to be done, how do I clear it, how do I fix it, what do I do to get what I want, which what I want is to feel good, right? I want to not be feeling all this shit. And it's like, instead I can just drop into like what's true, what's needed here. Because if I start plucking all these different energies out, I start making myself separate from others, from the collective that I'm feeling. And I turn my back on a part of myself, because I wouldn't be feeling this collective energy if there wasn't medicine in it for myself also. And so I feel like this is where, as empaths, as light workers, as people who feel and people who are sensitive, this is where we have an opportunity to really heal not just ourselves, but the collective, and to shift things. And it's not by focusing outside of ourselves. So for me, the way of creating the healing in this space tonight was not by focusing on what kind of healing space I was going to hold for you guys. It was focusing on my process. And my process becomes the offering, and me working the energy in my own body creates the opening for the group. And it's like part of my brain is still like understanding that, and it feels important to name it tonight. I don't know why. It's not necessarily like what I thought we were hopping on here to talk about, but it feels important for you to know that, like, you're not wrong for feeling so much. And if you're feeling it, it's because your body, your spirit has the capacity to process it, whether it's for you or someone else. And in processing it, you receive a gift. You receive healing. So it's like there really is no such thing as it being for someone else. And so I just invite you to pause for a moment and just notice and acknowledge your body's capacity for energy. If you can hold all this different energy, if you can feel all of this stuff, then I would think you could feel anything, right? It must mean that there is an infinite ability inside of you to experience anything. If you can experience and feel the turmoil of a loved one in your own body so deeply that it becomes yours, then I think you could also channel joy, and you could channel desire, and you could channel trust. And I feel like that's what we're here to remember today, is this deeper piece, this much, much deeper piece, this energetic piece that there almost aren't words for. And there is a part of you that speaks energy, that understands things without having to use the mind. It's so funny. I had an amazing womb healing intensive this morning, or this afternoon, with an energy healer. She's a Reiki practitioner, and so she knows energy. She's worked her energy a lot, and she's even worked with my teacher. So I know, like, energy is nothing new. And as we drop into the session, her energy is very unsure. It's like really difficult to drop in and settle, because it was a new energy she was being attuned to. It was something deeper, something her system had not experienced yet. It was this womb space, this divine feminine. And when she dropped in and saw her system, she was like, whoa, it looks totally different. She's like, is that possible? That it looks nothing like how I'm used to seeing my energy? And what it was there was like this hollow tube in her lower chakras, like a hollow central channel. But it was surrounded by light, you know, and healthy energy. And so it's like she'd been working all these layers, and there was this deeper piece that like she couldn't even see was hollow yet, because her system just hadn't opened, it wasn't there, whatever, like it wasn't like she was doing anything wrong. And so there was this whole new energy that she was able to move into after years of studying energy. And she operated a lot from her third eye and her heart. And her third eye was this source of like a lot of peace and a lot of like knowing, that connection with the divine. And then when she felt her womb for the first time, she's like, you know I felt my root chakra and my solar plexus, because it was her whole lower chakras that were sort of disconnected, or like the hollow pieces. She's like, but I don't think I've ever actually felt my womb space before. You know, she'd felt the edges of it. And when she actually felt her womb space, she was like, it's a similar quality of the third eye. It's like that knowing, that wisdom, and like that gentleness of the heart, that tenderness of the heart, and that soft, sweet wisdom that you can have in the third eye. But there was a gravity to it, a safety, like a real solidness. And the way she described it is just the way everyone describes their energy when they meet the womb. Like, this is your womb space. It's so beautiful. And I see April nodding, like April knows. It's this whole different energy. It's this whole other way of knowing. So instead of knowing with our mind or seeing with our eyes, we can feel the energy in our body. And we can know instinctively and intuitively without all the extra stories and shit that gets stirred up in our mind. And then what came forward for her was anger, that she had been conditioned out of that knowing, that this whole time she's had this other way of knowing, and she's been locked out of it her whole life. And she was pissed. And her system got to be attuned to anger. And she had this big, compassionate heart. Like, her energy is just soft, warm, loving heart energy, like so much compassion and love. And her heart got to be attuned to anger, you know, to power and the safety of it, because we can find false power in false anger. When we're angry at someone, when we're directing our anger outside of ourselves, we're not really in anger. We're not feeling it in our body. We're lashing it out. We're projecting it out. But when we're punching pillows, or what she likes to do is like smash ice cubes. So like, that's amazing. I'm adding that to my list. So if we're like punching pillows or smashing ice cubes with a hammer, or like I have a client who just went nuts in her garage and broke a bunch of old shit, you know, when we're doing that, we are experiencing true anger. And true anger, just like true love, true joy, true inspiration, true grief and sorrow, it brings life into the body. It reconnects us with our life force, with our divinity, with our everything. And so when we're in this space where we're feeling, right, where we're in our womb, where we can feel and know and experience things, everything is different. Everything feels different from this space. And I feel before this call, I was very much more in my upper chakras, you know, trying to figure it out. Do I need to talk about this more? Should I send out an extra email? Do I need to post on Instagram? Do I need to do this? Should I blah, 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 to do the thing, to make sure people show up, to make sure I'm safe? And really, it was just, what do I need right now? And my body just wanted me to grab a pillow, because I was sitting right here just like this, and then just to grab a pillow and lay down. So that's what I did. I laid down on this pillow, like all crooked and stuff, and let myself be held. I was like, I just need to be mothered. I need to know that I'm going to be safe no matter what. I need to know that if I do this call and it's not the thing I should be doing, I need to know that I'm still safe. I need to know that if I do this call and it's amazing, that I'm safe. I need to know that if I decide to cancel, that I'm safe. I just need to know that no matter what the fuck I do, I am loved and safe. And so I laid down with that intention and got so present to the way I was being held by my body, by my headboard, by my pillow. Then I could feel my angels. And then the next thing I know, so this was at like 7 o'clock. The next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's like 7:42. And it's like, okay, time to hold this space for everyone else. Time to share this. And I don't know what happened in my body in that time, but I do know that I was undergoing some healing. My mind had to get out of the way so that my womb could mother me, so that the part of me that knows things can show up. And now I can see so clearly, like, of course I was supposed to have this call. And of course I was supposed to have like a mini breakdown, panic attack, nervousness leading up to it. So I just invite you, like, of course you've had the day you've had. Of course you've had the life you've had. Of course you're here right now. It's where we're all supposed to be. And it doesn't have to look a certain way for it to be right or good or powerful or meaningful or real. And I think that's what today is all about. For me, it's very easy to access that passionate space. It's who I am. Comes really easy to me. And now this space is starting to come so easy to me, and I'm starting to really prefer it. And yeah, there are certain messages that I feel have to be delivered with fire, and there are other messages that need to be delivered in the quiet, and they're all valuable. And so I just invite you to see, like, how you show up in your life, what comes really easy for you, what way of being is easy for you, and know that there's magic for that in you. And it's not the only way you have to be. You can show up tomorrow and be totally different and still be loved and safe. And so with that, I just am going to pause for a moment. Yeah, and I invite you to set an intention to access that space within you, to let her in, to let your goddess in, your sacred feminine, your womb, to grant her permission in your body, to let her return home. She never left you. She didn't turn her back on you or leave you or abandon you. She was locked out by a very, very young, small version of you who was told that that was the right and safe thing to do. So you can just close your eyes and drop in. And just being with that part of you that didn't know she was safe, that didn't know she was good. And the part that, believed what the world told her about herself. And so she locked up part of herself. She locked it away, marked that box as dangerous. Do not open. Don't open door for this one. And that's why it was so hard to get here tonight. It took facing a lifetime of conditioning to show up here on this call. And even if you have been doing womb work, like I've been doing this deep womb work for over a year now, and it was hard for me to get here because there's still so much of my womb unaccessed. I know that. There has to be. Otherwise, it would have been so easy to arrive here. And so I invite you to get closer to your energy, to your system, and just see what it looks like. Just see what you notice or feel. And I feel like now I will actually open the floor for one-on-one support. And I have a feeling that whoever is receiving the one-on-one support is going to be guiding us through a group healing. It's going to be like embodying a piece of the journey. So if there's anyone who needs support, there should be the raise hand feature, or you can type in the chat box. And know that, like, in sharing, oh my God, so much energy. You are supporting yourself and the group. Okay, Lacey says she's in. Beautiful. Yeah, that's totally you I was feeling earlier, Lacey. I'm already feeling all of the.
I just got a wave of, oh, fuck. What did I just do?
Why did I open up to this? Yeah. So
I do these things to myself.
yeah, so let's just drop in and move closer to you.
So my energy, my lower chakras is kinked.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep, I feel that.
it's like I can feel my wound space, but it's like it's not connected to my grounding cord.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's shut off from one another.
Yeah, I can feel
And
that. And it feels like there's almost like a twist in your solar plexus.
that's what I was about to, like, I was literally about to say that.
Of course. Yeah, it's like it's between the solar plexus and the heart, like at the top
Yeah.
of your belly.
Yeah, it's like shut down. So
Yeah, and so we'll just breathe and be with that and let it be, like it's okay. And also, I want to thank your system for showing up today and for being witnessed as it is,
yeah, it's so strange.
And I will say this is a really common. The heart is wanting some love. Let me get my dog up. Come on. We got some heart energy. Come and join us. The heart is so nervous.
I feel you, girl.
Yes, the heart is so nervous. So yeah, I want to invite you to just take some long, slow, deep breaths. Feeling the oh fuck of the heart, the kink in your belly, the disconnect under your womb. Oh. And just feeling, also noting, like, I feel like this is the first time you've been able to, like, show up for a call and be held and seen instantly, without little Wyatt doing his thing. So there's an openness in your system that I really just, it feels important to name it and to acknowledge it and honor it. There's like a vulnerability that feels like new and sensitive and tender.
I'm open to a new way of being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really feel that willingness. So I invite you to move closer to that willingness, that opening, that softening, and just feel it, So just see what it feels like in your body, inviting it closer to you. And you can breathe with it for a while and then just see what you notice.
I noticed my heart got a bit nervous, but I had to place
Mm-hmm.
my hand there, and it's like, okay, it's all right,
Mm-hmm.
The old rigid way just it doesn't work anymore. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. It's time for expansion and big growth. Not like it's time for big growth.
Yeah, I feel like when your system says big, what actually happens is it goes down, like deep.
Uh-huh. Like
Just so
the
good.
roots growing deeper, 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 wider, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like right now, so before the old way in your system was to go out from the heart, right?
Uh-huh.
To sort of open up and like kind of blow out from the top. And now it's like, yeah, the fact that your roots are desiring the expansion feels a lot better. And so I just
Yeah.
invite you to lean into that and just keep being present with, it's like your system is sort of like mid step, right? Like you've taken a foot out of the old and you're going to step forward. And then there's like this part that's like not really sure like where she's supposed to step.
It's kind of like when you're in the mud in like rubber boots.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that mud and you kind of get stuck for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like sometimes like you'll pull your foot up and your foot will come, but the boot will stay.
Yeah.
With that gap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can hear the suction of it.
Yes. And it's like it feels like that was the old, like there was part of you that was so ready to step out of the mud, but like that warrior or that protection was like, nope, we are staying here because I know this place and I know how to protect you here. And now I feel that protection. I feel like you're like, okay, like you've sort of left the boot behind and you're like gonna step barefoot into the mud.
Yeah. I'll buy another boot. Fuck that boot.
Yeah, I feel like there's like some sort of internal protection wanting to be attuned or to come forward today. And so yeah, let's just take a pause there and breathe, letting yourself kind of be in this in between, sort of unprotected. Your boot is in the mud behind you and that foot feels so free and a little nervous. And so, yeah, I invite you to just play with like what would it feel like to step that foot, that bare foot into the mud. You can just imagine sort of
So
dipping your toes.
there's two thoughts. There's possibly a stick or something sharp that I could step on.
Mm-hmm.
That would suck. Or it's just cool, beautiful mud that you would use for like a mud bath.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so I'm curious if moving like really slow, if she could just put like, you could just put your toes on the top of the mud. We don't have to dive straight in. It's almost like the old way. It was like when your system didn't know what to do and it felt vulnerable, it would just step straight in, like, okay, well, I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to do a thing and put all of my effort into it. It's like this really strong step forward. So I just invite her to explore a different kind of step, like she can feel at the top of the mud. She can like just gently sink her toes in.
I'm gonna just kind of feel, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
just take your
slow.
time.
I may even bend down and touch the mud.
Yes, I was just thinking that too. I was like, if your hands, like your heart wants to go, make sure, right? Because our hands are like extensions of our heart. So if your heart wants to go feel if it's safe, she totally can.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I gotta check this shit out.
Mm-hmm. And also what I'm present to is like we could even like put on like a sock of light or something, you know, like you could put on some protection.
That sounds good.
Hmm.
We're gonna it like a golden boot because the other boot was just a black
Hmm.
boot. This is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can put that on and see what you notice. It's so
I
interesting. What's coming up for you?
could just tromp through with that. Go ahead.
It's so funny because it's like it's such a thing, right? Like I feel like um, it's almost like this is like the false thing. I'm just noticing it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like I've been sort of playing along with a story, maybe. And it's like, what if you didn't have to be in the mud in boots and like figuring out your next step? Like, what if you could be here, like in your body, in your bed?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It's like there's a whole thing. So it's like we could explore in the mud and like, you know, bring this golden boot inside and bring this energy in, and it still feels like it's still like not the thing. It's still not that deeper place. And it's your system's not doing anything wrong. It feels like naming it is important.
So I've discovered that I need more grounded reality. What's
Mhm.
really happening?
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is where it's like we can even get into like a grounded story, right? So it's like the old story was really high energy, really high action, and this is much slower and more delicate, and um it's still not the thing. And so let's just acknowledge that, and I want to invite the deeper part of you that wants to be witnessed or come online or that wants to show up for you, just to invite that forward. And it may be blank for a while, and like that's fine, and it may be more of just a sensation in your body or a feeling, but just breathe and invite it in and see what comes forward.
It's it's like a knot in my stomach. It's like a pit, a knot,
Hmm,
solar
I feel that.
plexus, and my womb. It's like a knot in both.
Hmm. I can feel it. Yeah, it's like really twisted up, and then yeah, disconnected from the root. And so I'm curious, let's move closer to the knot and just see what you notice as you get closer. And those of you who are like following along in your own journey, you know, you may notice that you're also like, we're sent down this false path, right? This false fixing. And now I invite you also to drop into like, what is true? And what does it feel like? So as Lacey moves closer, you may be a match and you may not. And just I invite you to keep dropping into what's true for you.
So it looks like my energy channel. Like all the
Mhm.
solar plexus, there's like it's like a pipe. It's like a hose, like a garden hose. And
Mhm.
solar plexus and solar plexus are in a knot, like a big
Mhm.
old wad of knot. And it's just like kinking up things in my womb space also.
Mhm. Yeah, I can feel
And
that.
it's like that nervous feeling in your stomach that just pity, like blah feeling.
Mhm.
It just doesn't feel it feels like anxiety in your stomach.
Yeah. So like of course of course, part of you like twisted off the cap at the top of that to keep that down, right? To keep that out of the
Yeah.
heart, out of these upper chakras. And so, yeah, I'm curious. It feels like our access point is more at the top of the solar plexus rather than like the womb root. Does that feel true for you that the top feels?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start there. And for, those of you following along, you can look at your solar plexus and heart, where they meet. Um, yeah, so what I feel like is that there is so much information and so much story that we could follow, like it's a rabbit hole we could totally go down for like an hour and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also am present to this part of you that like knows what you need and knows the system and why it is this way and what it used to look like, what it can look like. So I just invite you to see if you can invite her forward, your higher self or your soul.
So it's funny. I'm I'm very outgoing. My soul, my spirit, my higher purpose person, whatever you want to call it, is introverted and shy and
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
kid that hides at recess because doesn't really want to like just kind of goes and does her own thing.
yeah, it feels like, so what I feel like is like less that she's shy and more that she's just quiet.
Yeah. She's listening and observing.
Yeah, like she feels really steady and calm and like not super swayed by others. So she really doesn't have this interest in like participating in like what's going on with the other kids at recess, because she's
Yeah.
just kind of in her space. And yeah, so we'll see if we can just move closer to her and invite her to, it feels like maybe there's a growing up or an evolution of her wanting to happen. And so if that feels good for you, we can just invite her to evolve and grow and transform into, whatever highest possible expression is available right now.
She's a very good observer.
Hmm. Yeah, and what is she seeing? What is she observing?
She's observing the fake pretend type of world stuff that just
Hmm.
is not helping anymore. It's not holding any value.
Yeah, she's like, this isn't real. I can see that.
Like
She's kind of like sitting there like, this isn't actually a real thing, about the outside stuff.
it's all illusion. Like
Hmm.
she's
Yeah, I want to honor that. And yeah, that feels true. It's like this is the part of you that knows what's real and what's not real and what matters. And so I'll just invite her to turn towards you and let her see you. Let her show you you.
You are stronger than you have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what else does she see about you? About that strength? Like, what's true about your strength? Because that's your gift, right? That warrior.
It is. You're safe
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. On your own, you're safe. You're always safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like there's an opportunity for your warrior to maybe sit in front of her and let her attune your warrior to you. So there's a way the warrior's been like battling in that outside world, right? In that 3D non-reality, if that makes sense. Those are the words that are just coming forward. And now it's like if she can attune your warrior to this inner job, to bring your warrior in, because like this here in your body, this is real. And this is where the warrior is needed, where the strength is needed. And so just
So
see.
it's funny. She
Mm-hmm.
started out as like 10-year-old me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember being introverted and observing and just not, I guess, shy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now she's like old and white hair and wise, but like, even though she's old, she's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So good, right? Like how once we like drop into what's real, it's like nothing even really needs to be healed or be done. It's just remembering, like allowing her in. We all have this inner child and this inner maiden and the inner crone, like the wise woman, and they're all together. And you can look at this old wise woman with this vitality and this radiance and this beauty and this innocence and this awe and this playfulness of a child all in one body, right?
Yeah.
Seeing all of it at one time. So good.
Time to come home.
Mhm. Yeah, so taking some big breaths into that and just letting that soak up, welcoming her home. The wisdom that your warrior has been like on this quest for her, and she's finally arrived. And so, is there anything that she wants to do for you in your system? Anything that your system wants from her? Any other attunements that she wants to do? You can invite her to just go ahead and, mother you, nurture you, love you, heal you, and just see what comes forward.
Think that we're like just to be held.
Hmm.
Of
Yeah.
course, I want all the things, but
Hmm.
I need to just be held.
Yeah, it feels like it might be possible that like maybe her energy could expand to take up your whole body and to hold all of you. And like in holding you, in a way, she is able to tend to all the things. Just by being present with you. Yeah, and you can just notice like how is your heart?
Very light.
Hmm. Yeah, and just noticing the difference in your system now from when you started, from when you first
That
took off your
anxiety
clothes for us.
that
Hmm.
anxiety bellies, I don't feel that.
Yeah, let's see what your system is looking like now.
It's online, but there's still like a little, like it's like where the kinks were. It's not kinked, it's open, it's
Hmm.
flowing, but it's still a little crooked. But that's
Yeah, it's
okay.
like energy's flowing, but it's still not, which is fine. We're not here for perfection. That's a
Yeah.
massive opening, a massive healing for, you know, 10, 15 minutes. So good work. And I feel like we can invite in some golden energy, some divine energy from the crown. So that warm, sweet honey light, and letting it fill your whole body, rinsing out and filling in. Integrating your essence into your whole body. This return of your essence to your body. It's almost like so instead of the mind having to figure out what to do next or what we do after the call when you leave here, instead we have this grace coming in and like spreading the message throughout your whole body, informing all of your parts, every cell. And then you can also invite your, like as this starts to reach your womb space, you can imagine your pelvic bowl collecting it. Yeah, filling up your pelvic bowl with this like sacred water. And then inviting it into the root. How does that feel? Do you feel it moving through to your root?
I do.
I do too. So good.
Some golden rainbow.
hmm Yeah, and it feels like there's an invitation. So I think a lot of us are in Louisiana. I know not all, but we will be getting some massive rains tonight and tomorrow. And so it feels like inviting that rain in to rinse away and wash out and refill and just return our systems into flow. So thank you, Lacey, for opening this healing for us and for being witnessed and being vulnerable and yeah, opening with us and for us.
Thank you for
Now,
letting me be witnessed, and thank you everybody on the call for
so
thinking I'm crazy.
yeah, no, I'm sure everyone's a match to at least piece of this process. So thank you, thank you. And now I'm gonna just sort of switch to hold the whole group for just a moment. And so everyone coming back to themselves, your space, your body. And yeah, inviting in this energetic rain. Feeling it falling on your face, your head, your hands. You can reach out and collect it in your hands and rub it on your face or in your hair or over your heart. Just imagine bathing in this sacred rain. That to some may look like a thunderstorm or a bad thing or a flood. But to the part of you that knows, to this wiser self, she knows it's nourishment, it's a bath. And you may notice some really strong feelings coming up as you receive that rain. There may be intense, deep grief and relief. And so I just invite you to experience your rain in your own way. Maybe you bow to it on the ground or dive into a pool and collect it in a pool and bathe in it. Maybe you let it rip through your body like a flood. Letting it fill you up and feed you and nourish you, letting it bring on its raindrops, letting it bring you everything you desire, bringing you reassurance, letting you know that it's coming, that you've been heard, you have not been forgotten or abandoned. But the desire in your heart wants you as bad as you want it. And it's coming. And the invitation it feels like we have is to find that space where we can trust ourselves while we wait, where we can trust the process. Yeah, and just notice what comes up in your body. Yeah, I feel like I can open the floor for, I think we have time for one more. If Elizabeth or April are desiring to be witnessed or held or supported. Okay, sorry, Elizabeth, my eyes are closed over here. Yes, I would love, I was feeling you. Not unmute you. Okay, alrighty, hey.
Okay, there I am.
How are you?
Um, tired. Oh my God, so tired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah,
I'm not really sure why I'm coming forward. It just, I felt like I needed to.
yeah, beautiful. So we can just like close your eyes and be in your system, sort of
Actually,
dropping in. Mm-hmm.
I just had a face come to my mind.
Oh yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
share? Mm-hmm.
A a guy who I have been in some sort of really seriously confusing, I don't even want to say relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it's this kind of great mass of nothing, and I enjoy being with him, but every time we talk about getting together, my entire spirit goes, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no reason to shut him out of my life except for just everything in my body at this point is going, ugh.
I feel like I've been such a match to that. Yeah, I feel like I should share. I was dating this guy, and I'd say dating, like we didn't even talk about what we were. We were hanging out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, this dude was perfect for me, like literal perfection. And he hadn't done anything wrong. Um, but my body was just like, mm-mm, this isn't the thing. I could feel it in my body, and it was telling me to leave. And I've never left without reason before. It felt insane. And this guy was so sweet, and he was like nerdy and handsome, and like literally on paper, like I was trying so hard to fall in love with this guy when I didn't even know if I liked him yet. I think that's like the best way to describe it. And my body was just such a no. And I can fall in love with like a rock. It's very easy for me to fall in love and feel passionate. And I wasn't feeling it, and everything just kept telling me to go. And it took a couple months, but I finally listened, and I did let go of it. And it I'm being shown more and more, like, it's not necessarily that he was unsafe, or that it was a bad thing. It just wasn't the thing, right? It wasn't
Right.
the person. And that it's okay. And it's so funny because I have client after client right now. I feel like I've been saying this so much, having the opportunity to be like, thank you, spirit, thank you, universe, for this thing that's almost the thing, but not quite. I'm so grateful for this. Thank you. And next, what's better do you have for me? I also just had my first boyfriend from 13 years ago show up and like profess his love after 13 years of us not speaking to each other. And um it was so needed at the time. It was such a healing for me. And I was like, oh, this is what I want. Like, I feel like he sees me, and oh, this is so, so good. And you're not the one I want to be telling me this, you know? I had to say like not good enough, which was hard because just like the first guy, the guy I dated semi, like he was so sweet. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I didn't want to make him feel bad. And then this
Yeah.
guy is so important to me and I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to make him feel bad. And at the same time, it's like, if I'm not honoring myself, I'm not honoring anyone.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that felt important to like name and share for you. And also, I feel like your system probably has some wisdom. There's probably some opening or healing available if you're interested in dropping in and sort of exploring around that, maybe there is something more available.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so just closing your eyes and sort of dropping in and seeing like what you notice in your body, as you share, as I share, as we like kind of bring this energy forward. And everyone else on the call who may be experiencing some match to this, I invite you to do the same. And yeah, you can just let me know what you notice.
I feel a little queasy.
Yeah, I can feel that. It's like it's coming, like this reflex of coming up through the throat, almost from the belly. This uneasiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if we can move closer to it. And just see what you notice.
There's a lot of muscle tightness around it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's almost turning into like a rock in the middle of my stomach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like almost like the closer you get to it, the stronger it gets. It's like does it feel like it's maybe protecting something? I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just curious, like what its purpose is.
I feel tears starting. Just
Mm-hmm.
tiniest hint of tears.
Mm-hmm.
Sorrow in there.
Yeah, let's see if we can get closer to that.
And I feel some rage in the back of my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to shout.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, what are you noticing?
It's like black tar.
Yeah, so what I'll actually invite you to do, and if you have like this space and if you're willing to, you can mute yourself if you want, is to just maybe go scream into a pillow and like let that energy move up and out through your throat. Like let it be expressed and just see what comes forward. So, I'll go ahead, I can mute you.
Thank you.
Yes, and then if when you want to come back, you can just press unmute on your screen.
That was interesting because I was expecting it to be kind of a bright, shouty, and what came up more was like a cat growl.
Yeah, it felt like real primal. Like there was like this primal rage sort of. Yeah. And so what do you notice now? Like what are you feeling in your system?
Contempt.
Mhm.
And I I don't know the word for this, but it's like I just want to sneer. And,
Mhm.
and I don't know.
Yeah, like what I'm really feeling, what I'm really noticing, it's like all the ways that um interesting. It's like the womb and the solar plexus are like feels like there's it's kind of like smoky like in your solar plexus like the fire has been sort of put out and it's like instead of being put out it's like creating all this black like really sooty smoke
Mhm.
and it's like so yeah let's see if we can just move closer to that energy to the belly or the womb. And what I'm really present with is that anger about like not having had a say, not having been able to listen to yourself.
Yeah. And I just keep hearing not good enough.
Hmm.
What makes you think that's enough?
Yeah, it's like this piece of you knows like that you deserve so much more.
Yes. And it's anger at myself more than at him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like anger with yourself over the times, like the ways you haven't listened to yourself or honored yourself or like known your worth, and not in a angry I blame you sort of way, but yeah, like let's move closer to this piece that knows like fuck this. I need more. That like knows she's good enough to
Yeah.
have good enough.
Yeah. It's why are we settling again?
Hmm.
Why why am I putting up with this?
Yeah,
I
so let's invite that in. You know why? Where's the system or the structure or the mechanism in place in your body that's creating this settling for less?
yeah, there's something tightening around my heart.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
can
right
feel it. It's like the more she comes online, the more uncomfortable the rest of your body gets, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I have to confront it and I don't want to.
Hmm.
And I let it keep going because I don't want to hurt him and I don't want to do the work of confronting
Hmm.
the situation.
Yeah, it's like so much easier to settle, right?
Yeah,
To stay in what we know.
because like you said on paper, it should work.
Hmm. Yeah, so I feel like what I want to do is just invite in some golden light to sort of rinse out and fill in. I'm just going to bring some support and some safety to your system. And just noticing, as this light like drizzles onto the top of your head, you can touch it with your fingers or just notice what it feels like. Is it cool? Is it warm? Is it sweet? Is it light?
That's rich.
That's a good word
Deep.
for it.
It's sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I usually see like thick honey,
Yeah.
warm honey. Yeah, and letting this rich, sweet energy move through your body and letting it bring reassurance, strength, and energy, whatever your system is needing to feel safe and capable of trusting yourself and of listening to yourself. And then we'll also invite in your angels or spiritual guides. And if any of them want to place their hands anywhere on your body or offer you any healing or insight or gifts, and hold space for them to do that now. How does that feel?
So lovely.
Beautiful. So, yeah, I'll invite everyone to sort of join us in this space of just receiving, resting. And thank you, Elizabeth, for being seen and witnessed and opening that healing for us and
Thank
for
you.
yourself. You're so welcome. So, yeah, just taking some big, long, slow, deep breaths. And then slowly, gently coming back to yourself, back to this body and this moment. And just noticing this inner quiet, this quiet, steady truth in your belly and in your womb. Noticing this trust in yourself, trust in the process. And that although this energy is really quiet and calm and internal, also just notice how much you feel it, how strong it feels, how powerful. That quiet inner power, that quiet inner drama, the quiet inner light. I'm just inviting it to take up more of your body. To share its wisdom with all of you. And if you haven't already, then filling up with golden light and inviting in your angels and guides to circle up and send you love and hold this golden space for you. Letting it infuse every single cell in your body, radiating you from the inside out. No more needing to show people who you are, or tell them who you are, or make them understand you. And now you can just be yourself and be in your process and feel what you're feeling and do what you feel like you need to do. And trust and know that it's enough, that you're safe and loved and held no matter what. And then you'll slowly start to make your way back, wiggling fingers and toes, rocking your head from side to side. Stretching it out. Whew. So much energy moving. So good. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who made it on live with me, thank y'all for witnessing me and my shit at the beginning. I hope it, like created some opening. Thank you to Lacey and Elizabeth for being seen and witnessed and opening a healing for all of us. This work continues to blow my mind every day, every session, every connection, every interaction. So good. And so if you kind of feel the same, if you know that you want more of this, I do invite you to look into my one-on-one healing work. Feel free to shoot me an email or message me to talk more about it. I also have most of what I do on my website. My womb healing intensives are on there. Grace, my 6-month one-on-one support mentorship, is on there. I have a seat open in that right now. And then I also just started something new, some reconnect sessions for reconnecting with your partner. So if that's something that you desire, I have those at a special price right now. They're $97 for a 50-minute session where we drop under all the story of your relationships. We drop under all the drama, all the chaos, all the conflict, all the he said, she said, and blaming and fixing, right? That world we were in, and drop down into the truth and reconnect from that place. And so I'm really, really excited about doing those. If that sounds like something you want to do, reach out, because I would love, love, love to support you in that. It feels like relationship healing is up there right now. That is like one of the top supportive energies of the moment. So feels like a good time to capitalize on that if you are wanting it. then the universe wants it for you too right now. It's very in support of it. Let's see, anything else before we go? Nope. Alrighty, I'll be sending y'all so much love. If I can find out where the end meeting button is. Here we go. Good night, y'all.